Welcome back to Couch Talk, everybody. I'm Joe, and today we're here to talk about the trailer for the new Netflix movie, Apostle. Now, if I did every trailer that came out, I would be putting out like 10 trailers a day. So I try to limit it to only like the big ones, and it's very rare that Netflix gets a trailer reaction out of me. But this looks really good, and it's by a really good, underrated director, Gareth Evans. He is behind the Raid franchise, which has the best choreography for a fight scene ever. And Gareth Evans is also supposedly doing the Deathstroke movie for DC, Batman's villain. Who knows if that's ever going to get made, but the fact that he's doing it makes me more excited for it than I should be, and it should make everybody excited. If you haven't seen this guy's work, like I said, the VHS movies or the Raid movies, the VHS movies are horror, and the Raid are just straight up action thriller. So the first Raid is about a cop, well, a whole bunch of cops that got stuck in a skyscraper and they have to fight their way to the top. It's kind of like the Dread movie that came out most recently, like a couple years ago, with Carl Urban. But this one's like the Kung Fu version, and it is filmed in all these beautiful one-shots and long takes, and the director just doesn't cut away. He doesn't use all this bullshit shaky cam. He has perfected the right angles and the right direction to use in all of these fight scenes to make them look as real as possible and as fluid as possible. It is a dance if I've ever seen one. And I am so excited to see him come out with more and more intriguing stuff. This movie isn't in the action category that he directs. It's more of in the horror. It's, if you've seen the trailer, it's a cult horror movie. Dan Stevens' character, Thomas, who finds out that his sister was kidnapped by a cult and brought to this island, and he has to travel to this island and try and find her. And while there, I guess he's trying to blend in, but they start becoming suspicious of him, that he's not who he says he is. And then he has a little darkness to him, too. He says some biblical shit that kind of creeps you out in the trailer. So it seems like he has like kind of like a dark past as well. And then just when I thought it was going to be like straight horror, you get a little taste of, his famous Gareth Evans action, where Dan Stevens like kicks the guy's leg and then he picks up a pole and like breaks it over a guy's head, but it's all shot in like this beautiful wide angle, and it just looks really good. And I'm glad that I'm getting a mix of both his best work in horror and his best work in action and combining it into one movie. And especially with Dan Stevens. A lot of people know him from some TV show, I think it's Downton Abbey. But most people know him also as Beast from the recently released Beauty and the Beast movie. I know him from a small movie called The Guest, which was one of the best movies I saw that year. I own it on Blu-ray. I've watched it like 100 times. It's a really good thriller. I'm not going to go off the beaten path and talk about it, but definitely look up the trailer for Dan Stevens' movie, The Guest, and hopefully that will make you understand why I'm even more excited for this movie, Apostle. I think he is such a phenomenal actor, especially when he's giving these like really dark and dramatic roles. He really knows how to do action. He knows how to act, surprised and scared. Gareth Evans knows how to direct both action and horror, and very strong following that's only growing. And that's all the more reason why I really want to see him do a big blockbuster movie, because the world deserves to see what this guy could do, so they go back and they watch all of his other work. The only other character that's in this trailer that looks familiar to me is Michael Sheen. He was also in Passengers with Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt. He plays the cult leader, and he looks creepy as hell too. Everyone looks creepy here. It looks like there's some really sinister torture. And the thing I like about Netflix is that they can kind of get away with making a movie as brutal and bloody and violent as they want. Whereas in Hollywood, there's a lot of restrictions, like even rated R. Like there's only so far you can go before it's considered NC-17, and then you can't play it in most theaters. But Netflix is a lot more allowing of those kind of things, which is why I feel like a lot of people keep saying, like, with this whole Henry Cavill thing about how he left the Superman role and went to The Witcher. I saw one famous YouTuber talking about how it's suicide, it's career disaster, that he's an unwanted actor and that he can't get a job anywhere in Hollywood, so now he's going to Netflix, and that's like where actors go to die when they're not like blockbuster stars anymore. And I don't think that's the case at all, because Netflix, acquired Adam Sandler, and you could say what you want about him. Yeah, he kind of checked out. It doesn't really seem like he's acting too much anymore. But he's still one of the highest paid actors in the world, and he has a huge deal with Netflix, and it's one of the most watched movies of at least that month when it comes out. And they also got Martin Scorsese to come on and do the Irishman movie with Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and Martin Scorsese is still a Class A actor who any studio would kill to have, but he's going to Netflix. Now, the reason why a lot of actors and directors are going to Netflix is, like I said, because Netflix gives them complete and total freedom. It's like, here's the money, make what you want. Whereas in Hollywood's like, here's some money, you can kind of make what you want, but you can't have this, this, and this in it. There you go. So it's just nice to have that creative freedom, which is also why I'm excited for this movie, because Gareth Evans can literally let loose and just let his whole mind floor onto the page and in front of the camera. And I know I just keep rambling, but I really am so excited for this movie. It is at the top of my most anticipated movies, right behind Avengers Infinity Wars Part 2. Honestly, if you're watching this reaction right now, do yourself a favor and go watch the trailer if you haven't yet, and go watch Dan Stevens in The Guest, and go watch The Raid, and go watch the VHS movies, and that'll give you an idea of what you're going to get out of this. Anyway, let me know if you guys have seen any of those movies that I mentioned. Let me know if you're excited for this. Let's talk about it in the comments down below, and as always, I'll catch you next time.